And I know Emily is excited to be the first one, aren't you? Oh, come on. So let's see. Oh, before we get started, um, next Monday, Bradford is filling in for me. Okay. So he is, I'm working with him on what he's going to be actually doing. Um, Let me share my screen here real quick because our next assignment is prototyping. So it's prototyping your visual designs. So that, again, that means if you haven't finished your visual designs, then you can't, it's going to be really hard for you to move on to the next assignment. So if any of you are falling behind on this assignment, it is going to really back up on you because basically the next two assignments are based off of your visual designs. So our prototyping, I'm going to be doing a Figma tutorial today after we get through these last presentations. So you're going to be prototyping and doing maybe some basic animations for your visual design. So develop clickable prototypes to demonstrate interactive functionality with simple animations that enhance the user experience. Examples include hover effects, animated banners, image carousels, or interactive feedback on user actions. So ensure that animations are subtle and purposeful and do not detract from the overall usability of the website. So what I'm going to share is actually, let me share my whole screen. Give me a second. Get rid of this, get rid of that. And let me jump over to my Figma. All right, so let me also move that over. Okay, can everybody see my Figma file? Yeah. Hold on for 1 second. Let me do this. There you go. All right. So I assume you all can see my Figma file, right? So I spent some time kind of fleshing out this silent comedy website. So last time, so Figma was being a bit finicky with me on some things. So I went ahead and created quite a bit of stuff in this. I'm going to share this as well. Let me just double check here. Yeah, anyone? Sounds great. Copy link. Let me go back over here. And I'm going to drop this in the chat so everybody can kind of pull it up and look at it as well. So what I did was I just kind of finished a bit more on this web page. And I did a few things. One, I did a navigation overlay, open and close, with a fade and also a dark background. I included buttons, just at least these two right now, these two buttons in here. And we're going to create the about button, but you can see how these work. I can click either the close or I can click out. So you have two ways of closing your overlay, your menu overlay. And that menu overlay is effective wherever you're at in the page. Okay. Another thing, here's some more button rollovers. I also created these anchor links so to be able to scroll just within, if it's a single page. This is just an example if you got a single page or you have anchor links that you want to click to. So I'm showing that. but technically, like, we're going to create an about page. So where this will be able to click over to that about page or buy tickets. I'll probably just do a buy ticket page. But these guys right here are just little anchor scrolling links. And then also, I already did that button. I also created a video in the background here. You can see this. I'm going to show you how to link. I'm going to I'm going to add the scrolling anchor link to buy posters so it scrolls down to this section. So I'll show you that as well. And of course, there's those buttons here. And then I'm going to create a back to top button down at the bottom where I'm going to design it and then click and show you how to do a back to top. Basically, it almost works just like that. So, yeah, we're gonna work through that today to help you out with your next assignment, prototyping. How does that sound for everyone? Yeah,
Pretty good.
helpful. Well, it should be, unless you're, I believe, what, Donna, you already had a lot of prototyping done in yours, didn't you?
Yes, but also Mara did too.
Mara had a lot in her last assignment. So that was yeah, that was pretty cool to see the two of you get so far ahead on that. So yeah, good job on that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to allow. There you go. Oh, as a reminder, please keep your microphone muted. We keep having disruptions where people, I don't know why, they keep unmuting their mic throughout people's presentation, and it just becomes very distracting. So please make sure that your microphones are muted. And if you have a question or feedback, raise your hand. Don't just interrupt, okay? So please keep those microphones muted during people's presentations. All right. So I know, Precious, you did not get a chance to present. Emily, you didn't get a chance to present. Let's see here. Melinda, you did not get a chance to present. Carolyn, you didn't get a chance to present, right?
I did present.
You did. Okay, gotcha. All right. So I didn't. Okay, so let me write this down. I'm going to do this. Emily. We got Emily. We got Precious. We have Droesh. All right. Marissa. Who else? Who else didn't present? Is that it?
Me.
Who's me? Emily. Yes, Melinda. Yes, Melinda. Is it Vera Diana? Are you there?
Yes.
You did not present.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I need for you to speak up, please. All right, who else didn't present? Is that it? All right, so I have the 6 of you right there. Out of the 6, who wants to go, or I'm going to pick? Any volunteers? Mhm. Mhm. You guys, come on.
I'll go.
Who was that? Was that you, Precious?
Yes.
All right, way to go, Precious. You go first then. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then Marissa, you can go next. Thank you. My goodness, I appreciate it. All right, I'm excited to see this.
Hey, here's my plan B.
I can, yeah, I can see it. Looks good so far. Hold on, Precious. You got to talk us through it though, okay?
Okay, sorry.
All right. Come
This
on,
is
go back to the top, please.
okay.
All right, remind us about it, and then kind of take your time a little bit. Talk us through it.
My website I'm doing is called Kids Court Collective. It's
Yes.
a C2C website for moms or parents and kids who have children who play basketball or like organized basketball.
All right. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that reminder.
Um, this is my sorry, my babies.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, if you need to take a break, I know you have children, so if something comes up, yeah, just let us know, okay? We'll take a break.
Um, okay, so I put a shop now button or sell or swap.
Good. So your
Um,
feature area, I'm going to help you kind of walk through this a little bit, okay, Precious?
okay.
So, as far as like, I'd love to hear, we know that your target audience is mainly, parents with young children, correct?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell me a little bit about this image here. It looks like did you create this using AI or tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
So I created the image using Chat GPT.
Oh, good for you. How was that?
Um, it was kind of hard because the kids were like awkwardly placed and I don't know, I was just trying to find the right prompt,
Right.
to come up with a better image, but this was as good as I could get at that moment.
It looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Great. Okay. So you were able to create an image that helps kind of like already visually represent game ready, shoots for the next generation. So that's good. Tell us a little bit about the typography you chose.
For that typography, I want to say it was Montestella.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I chose it because I wanted it to be bold, but like looking at it right now, it looks like I don't know, maybe it's the color I chose.
Yeah, yeah.
Or to me.
Yeah, yeah. I do like the font, the fonts so far quite a bit. I do like the boldness of it, like you said. But yeah, I think it would stand out a little bit better if maybe you just went ahead and used white. So there's not that it's kind of fading into the background a little bit more. So yeah, that could be an update that you could consider. Okay.
Okay.
All right, good. So your feature area, as far as highlighting two prominent call to actions for your target audience, correct?
Yeah. And now that I'm looking at that, I feel like it's kind of like the same thing. So maybe I should change one of those buttons.
Yeah. What I would do though is I feel like sell now sell or swap, are those two separate actions?
Um, Not quite because on the product page it gives the option to um purchase or you can choose to swap with someone if you can or to
Gotcha.
uh,
Okay. Shopper. Okay. Well, I like your main navigation where it says shop or swap. I like that play off of words. I feel like that should just keep it simple, Precious, right there, and just carry that call to action down there. Just swap or shop, make it feel a bit more prominent where it feels like a billboard, right? It feels like an ad. You want it to feel very special and stand out. So I think that as far as considering what you could do in your feature area, just make everything stand out a bit more and create more contrast with the color. Okay.
okay.
All right. Keep going.
So this section is shows how it works.
Perfect. Excellent. I love the iconography. It's simple, it's illustrative, and it's consistent with each other.
I wasn't sure about like I know you talked about having a dark color instead of just using black. I did use black in the description part.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure if I should change that.
I think so far everything's working. I think your color palette is very ownable. I like the shades of the different colors. You're not just using generic colors. So far, I think it's looking pretty good. So keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
My next section is why Kids Court Collective,
Yeah, good.
and it just gives a little detail on why
Uh-huh.
why this website works for
Good.
parents.
Okay. Excellent. Keep going. Looking good.
That section is the top cakes,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes into my footer,
Yep.
and that's it for that page.
And that's called your home page, right?
Yeah, my homepage.
Okay. All right. Next.
And so the next is the category page.
Okay.
I put a feature product, and
Excellent.
then it goes into the big kids category.
Yeah.
Um,
Keep good. Good.
so next page is my product page,
Okay. This is your product detail. Excellent. Okay.
and I don't know. I was trying to be simple
Yeah.
as possible.
I think it's looking very good so far. Good job. Mm-hmm.
And then I added a unit also like,
Good. Some cross-selling. Good.
and then into my checkout page.
Good. Oh, I love that headline, ready to ball. That's good. Good. I like that.
And yeah, I don't know. I know I'm missing like a lot of things here.
I don't think so. I don't really think you are, Precious. I think you've done a very good job. There's a lot going on with your overall design and your page flow that I think is just so thoughtful and very unique for your brand. I still want to tell you, like, I absolutely love your logo. I think you've done such a great job with the logo, first of all. This is going to be a great portfolio piece for you. I
Okay.
think the other things that are such an accomplishment that feel, very unique for your brand is your typography and your color palette. Like I just love the color palette. I think that it's very fresh and unique. It looks, it just looks different. It's not like screaming really loud, but it feels, you know, just again, ownable, fresh, unique. So those are the things I think are working really, really well.
Okay.
Another is your language. If you go back up to this page here, I like how, you're utilizing relevant headlines here to, keep you within the brand. So ready to ball, I think is a great, great headline there. Let's go back to the home page.
Okay. Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, excellent. So overall, again, your color palette, this blue, and you're utilizing kind of these different shades of this muted orange and then this muted red. Yeah, these colors are really cool. They feel a little vintage. Was that intentional?
I was trying to have like something that was kid friendly, but not too playful.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, I think you accomplished it. I think that's really smart. Yeah, it feels kid friendly, but it doesn't feel juvenile.
Right.
So good job on that. So I'm gonna kind of go through some things that I've noticed. I feel like could make your designs in the flow be better. Okay,
Okay.
so just little things. Let me get my little my drawing shape. I feel like this white space here seems odd. Like it seems like a mistake. And I think I remember somebody else had that too. And I was like, why not just make them connect. Like let this image in this bottom area just touch. Because this white space just feels a little awkward and it looks like a mistake to me.
Okay.
You scroll up to the top just real quick for your main navigation. This is all looking really good. The only thing though is this color on white, and maybe it's just because you're sharing your screen,
Mm.
that there could be just a little bit of readability concerns. But again, it could just be because you're screen sharing and it's messing up the contrast.
Okay.
Another thing, just to get nitpicky, I would open up your letter spacing just a little bit in
Mhm.
your main nav so your letters breathe a little bit more. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So keep scrolling, go down, keep going. Next section here, how it works. I love this. I love your iconography in here. It all feels consistent. Again, just kind of get a little nitpicky. So, things continue to get better. I feel like the line weight of your arrows should match your line weight over here of your boxes.
Oh, okay.
So it
Okay.
matches. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, so snap your kicks, list your pair, swap or sell, ship or meet up. That's cool. Okay, keep going.
Alright.
Yeah, Why Kids Court Collective. Yeah, I like your imagery that you've created. Keep exploring. Midjourney is better for images like this.
Okay.
ChatGPT, if you notice, a lot of the people kind of look a little stiff, right? They
Yeah.
almost, they look kind of mechanical. You can get more natural humans in Midjourney if you explore with that a bit more, okay?
Okay.
For this contrast in colors, the white on this, I would suggest you maybe go with that dark blue or the black for that
Okay.
copy right in here.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's go to your next page or category. Okay, this is working really good. The only thing though that seemed a little odd to me is go up to the top. I wonder if you should just center this in the middle.
Okay.
It seems kind of odd sitting over there to me.
Okay.
So try that. All right, keep going. I can tell that's definitely AI because there's no shoelaces that are hanging. and and it's a good Nike swoop, but they didn't get the Nike name on the title.
Right.
Yeah. So for this, just again, just to kind of get a little nitpicky, this area right in here, like the spacing feels real tight. Feels real
Uh-huh.
tight. I feel like you could open all of these up. So this area is taller
Right.
and you give your typography some more breathing room.
Okay.
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 All right,
Yeah.
keep going. Scroll. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's go to our product detail. I really like this page. The just some small things. I don't know if you really need this outline around this area. It kind of gets real sort of boxy looking now, where you got this box, you got this box, now you got this box. I don't think you really need this one. I think it'll help kind of alleviate it looking so boxy. But I do like how everything feels very compact and within a card in a module. So you've done a good job with that. But try maybe like removing maybe these outline strokes around this stuff and seeing what it looks like. Uh,
Okay.
Also double check the outline around propose a swap. That looks really thin. Is that the same as on your homepage buttons?
No, I think it is
All
really.
right, so just double check that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so that looks really good. Scroll down. Yeah, like what you got going on right there. Your imagery is really great. You've done a good job with that. And finally, your last page here. Let's look at that, okay?
All right.
Yeah, so ready to ball. I like that. I like your color palette here. It's kind of bringing that through. You could have include maybe some kind of incentive, right? To
Mhm.
be able to hopefully maybe like how some people have come up with incentives to try to um, you know be able to get rid of shipping or something like that, or maybe like you can earn rewards. How about that, Precious? Like maybe based off of your membership, if you've already done this several times, maybe there's something here that you could go and actually, do you have that in your main navigation, a profile?
I show a login, but I didn't.
Okay, so then if you have a profile and you're like a member, because you
Mhm.
say join the team, so if you're a member, then maybe here it recognizes that and it says, um, "Hey, Precious, you've just earned free shipping."
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
what that does is it kind of gives you a thank you, like the company gives you a thank you and helps you it helps incentivize you to keep like shopping and using this site as a
Yeah.
member.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Does anybody have any additional thoughts for Precious? I think you've done a good job. Way to go.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Sorry. This juice I'm drinking is a little thick. All right. Well, thank you, Precious, for volunteering, the brave one. And Marissa, you said that you would go next. So let's pass it over to you and let's go.
Okay, let me just share my screen.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Donna said big fans of the color, Precious. I was too. Good job on that. While you're pulling that up, I will do an announcement to inform you what Bradford will be covering next Monday, okay? When he's covering for me.
Okay.
All right. Very cool. I'm excited to see what you got here. Let's focus on desktop for now. Okay, Marissa?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, new again.
I still have some changes to make to the logo that you suggested, but other
Cool.
than that,
Yeah, that's cool. Just go ahead and walk us through your design and yeah, let us know what you're thinking about everything.
all right. So it's like a vintage furniture reseller.
Yep.
Um, I kind of wanted to go for like a really simple design
Mm-hmm.
because the furniture is kind of like the highlight here of the website.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys have any suggestions on how to make this like better or more visually like stimulating, that would be helpful.
Good. We will definitely,
Um,
we're good at that.
yes.
So remember, talk us through kind of your thinking about colors and typography. We want to hear your thinking.
Yeah, so I was gonna go for like maybe like a greenish color for maybe this heading here, but it kind of just was like not looking like a furniture website. So
Mhm.
I just went for something more neutral.
Good. I love the color.
Um, and
Gorgeous.
then the typography is pretty simple, but hopefully it doesn't look like horrible together.
No, no, it's looking great.
Okay.
All right. So your feature area here, you're just kind of talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's just like the hero section. I'm kind of thinking of doing maybe like different pictures that like a little GIF, I guess,
Okay.
but I don't know yet. And
Okay.
then I just have the shop all button
Yeah.
instead of like choosing a specific kind of category.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would come down into this. So kind of like more features like newly added, shop sale, best sellers,
Uh-huh. Good.
and
Look how
then a
clean
little
things are
bit.
so far. It's very well organized, Marissa.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit of like their story. I didn't want to make this too heavy, so I just added the read more in case
Yeah.
you wanted to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit about like, or a picture of like what the warehouse would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then some Instagram posts for like the
Mm-hmm.
social spotlights where you can kind of like scroll through them.
Excellent.
And then some reviews. Since it's like vintage furniture, they really usually only would probably have like one or two items in stock. So
Oh,
it's hard to have like specific reviews on specific products.
yeah. It's very, very, one-off type of projects or products because, yeah, they could just have one from the 60s and that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I know what you
Just
mean.
more like um general reviews.
Okay. Good.
And then it would go down into like the three
Okay.
main categories that people usually select.
Good. Good.
The footer needs some work. I think I might change the background color and then I don't know if
Hmm.
you have any suggestions for that.
Okay. I have thoughts, but it's looking really good so far.
Okay, let me go to the product page. So this would be like lounge chairs specifically,
Okay. Good. Keep going.
and then kind of have like the options for filters. And then if you want to see out of stock items or hide them.
Okay. Good. Keep going.
And then like to keep it going, if you wanted to like, instead of having it just kind of end there, you could like complete the look with different items that might look good with it.
Good.
And then back to those three main categories.
Excellent.
And then same footer.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then for the product page, sorry. Um, I don't know. This is what I'm kind of going with for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it pretty simple still.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of click on these individually. I guess the what we're doing next would come into play here
Yeah.
on
Yeah. Adding some functionality into that. Yeah.
yeah. And then some similar items in case they like weren't interested in that. And then some more reviews
Good.
back to those three categories.
Yeah.
And then for the checkout page, I tried to do like this. I think you recommended we kind of leave something like this on here.
Yes. So some personalization and some customer service at this phase. Yes.
Yeah,
Just treating people like a transaction.
yeah, exactly.
Good. Okay.
All right. So, like, say this is their cart, really expensive stuff, but, and then just pretty simple formatting here.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's what I have right now.
Wow, Marissa. This is a really, really good website. Like, I'm very excited to see this progress. I think you have done an incredible job as far as thinking about user interactions and the user experience. And Somebody have their mic on?
I think it's me. There's some birds chirping out here.
Oh, I thought I heard somebody talking. So overall, like you really have a very sophisticated aesthetic that I think as a somebody that loves vintage furniture and collects it, the overall visual design and aesthetic that you've done feels very appropriate for this type of brand and these type of products. So great job on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over to the homepage, and I'm gonna kind of walk through it. I'm gonna open it up to your fellow classmates first before I dig in. Does anybody have any thoughts and feedback for Marissa? I think she's just done a great job. Maya, yeah, thanks for raising your hand. What you think?
Yeah, I think it looks really, really great. I did have just a quick question for the best sellers category, since we did talk about like how some of the furniture there's like only one piece. Maybe a good title could be either like shop by brand. If some people, are into furniture, they might know like the specific brand,
Mhm.
or it's just something else because the best sellers just confuse me a little bit.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think everything looks great.
Yeah, I agree too. Thanks, Maya, for bringing that up. That didn't really make sense to me because they're pretty much one-offs, right? Like if you see a Eames recliner, it's a 1965 Eames recliner in excellent condition, black leather, right? It's just one, like, it's just that one that you're buying. You're not, they don't have multiple versions of it like at Design Within Reach.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I look back on that now, I realize that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
So
So
the
I
shop by
think,
brand is a good idea.
yeah, it definitely could be a good idea. Or just shop by category, like because if I want to look at recliners, then I want to see what kind of recliners you have. Do you have Eames recliners? Do you have Milo Bowman recliners? Do you have, a variety of different vintage style recliners? So that could also be an option.
Okay.
Yep. All right, cool. Thanks, Maya. Who else has some thoughts and feedback for Marissa? Yeah, Shaver, thanks.
Yeah, I think it's a really like the kind of energy that it like exudes is like really calming, like the color palette that you have and kind of the design that you have, and it's really seems really modern. And
Yeah.
so like my comment along with that is I feel like the two like when you're zoomed out completely, the two um couch pictures that you have, like the one where it's blue and one that's red, I feel like when it's zoomed out, those are kind of clashing with the rest of the color palette of the website. So maybe consider like making all three of those pictures kind of similar in color to kind of create cohesion,
Hmm. Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it
But
does.
other than that, I think the website's really great. And I left a comment that says, I like how you left the 4-star up there to create like believability, Because
Yeah.
when I see all fives, I'm usually like, yeah, right,
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shaver. I appreciate that. That's some good thoughts to consider. Okay, Marissa?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the green, red, and then that tealish color are like clashing for me a lot. So
Yeah. Excellent. Anybody else got any thoughts and feedback for her? Okay. All right, so I got just some subtle things. Again, I mean, I think you've done an excellent job overall. It's very thoughtful and very appropriate. I think your color choices are spot on. They feel upscale, but also warm and inviting. So I think that you've chose some really good colors. I'm just going to get down to just a few things that you could consider. because you're going for, these are very high ticketed items, right? You just looked at your checkout and you're almost at $21,000 and you only selected 3 items. So these are very, very expensive like items for collectors. And a lot of people that buy this type of furniture, they buy it because one, they can afford it, and two, they really respect the time period and the quality. And so I'm thinking about that target audience, and a lot of those people really consider design, because this is a time period, especially a lot of this mid-century stuff where design was so, so refined and so thoughtful, and it still carries over into today. So little things like I get a little visually exhausted looking at these big outline buttons. I feel like that you could be a bit more subtle with your buttons to make them feel more sophisticated. What if your buttons just had a little line underneath it instead of them all being these boxes? And remember, whenever we kind of talked about hierarchy, visual hierarchy, you can have variations of buttons. Like I had showed you, even in Squarespace, they give you 3 options for buttons. You have a primary button, a secondary button, and a tertiary button. And so I want you to kind of think at that level, okay, Marissa? Like maybe it's fine to use this outline button up in your feature, but then whenever I keep seeing it down in the body area, it gets kind of visually exhausting. And does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. What other suggestions but besides like underlining one?
You could do a very light shade of your tan and not have an outline. So
Okay.
it could be a box, but it could be a very light tan. And so there's just a slight color difference between the white background and the button background. Can you zoom in for me, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. So, like, do me a favor, click on that shop sell button, the outline, the actual box. Go to your design. Yeah, there you go. So scroll over to your design column.
Okay.
You got to scroll down to get to your fill in your.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
There you go. So you see how you have a stroke, but you don't have a fill. So click plus on fill. Okay. And now choose like your that really light tan in your color palette down at the bottom. You see how you got the swatches? Yeah, select that light tan in the middle. Yeah, there you go. And now get rid of your outline. But now we need text. Where'd that text go? Try that again, send it back.
Move this forward.
Bring. And now let's make that tan even lighter. Like go over to your colors, click on that, and let's try to make that a little bit lighter. So, okay, that's beautiful. You see how that now it's subtle, it looks like a button, but it's not so jarring. You don't have big square button, big square button, big square button, right? And now your secondary button, which this could be your secondary button, is a lot more subtle instead of them all like you having all these like bold rectangular outline buttons, which to me gets kind of busy and exhausting.
Okay. Yeah, I like the way this looks.
Yeah, you see how that's now a bit softer? Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to help you out with that one a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that.
yeah, I mean, honestly, that was the main thing that was bothering me mostly was those buttons. So I wanted to just kind of help you out with that. Overall, again, I think that you've really considered layout. You have good contrast in your colors, in your navigation. and just, overall, let's go to your checkout real quick. Yeah, for something like this, because again, considering your target audience, go down. Let me see your summary. Very expensive shipping. So I don't know, like, there could be some kind of incentive that if you're spending over $15,000 on furniture, the shipping could be waived.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, just I would consider that because this particular person that's shopping, they got $21,000 of inventory here, which is a lot of inventory, and you could consider even half off shipping for something like that, just to be thankful.
Okay. How would you like include that in here? Would it be
You
like
could you could
above?
just do a line item where it says half off shipping, and then you have like a little asterisk next to it, and you could say it down at the bottom, all orders over $10,000 are half off shipping,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I just chose that randomly.
Yeah, I know.
Help
It's
a
okay.
lot for
I know where
shipping.
I know where you're going with it. Well, great job. Overall, excellent job. This was a very like I feel overall like your e-commerce site has a lot of information and you did a great job representing it. So way to go. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. I appreciate all the feedback.
You betcha. All right. Do we got
Me.
Emily?
Yeah, I need to go.
You way to go, you.
Okay.
Excellent. Can't wait. Yeah.
Okay. I have used a offensive amount of gradients,
That's
and
okay.
I'm not sorry.
Good for you.
Mediocre Plans is a stationery company. We don't really care, but we care.
Right.
So this is the homepage.
Shop the baddies. That's fun. Half-ass attitude. Talk to us a little bit about the design and your color palette and the fonts and things like that, okay, please?
I've left no color untouched.
And why?
Because there's only so many colors, and they all should be represented.
Okay, excellent. And your fonts here, like your fonts in your headlines, like tell us a little bit. That's a really cool font. Like talk a little bit about that.
So I was looking in Figma for fonts with variables, and this one came up. I think it's called Unbounded.
Okay.
Definitely starts with a U.
I like the angles in it. It has some unique angles, and like the uppercase E's kind of slant in the middle and things. So it's got a lot of personality to it, like your color palette.
And so just going into like ways to go to notebooks and notepads, because these are links. And then my new section.
Good.
And then just exploring. So these will take you to different landing pages.
Excellent.
And then we have a lot of sticker shops do like oopsies or like do grade A, grade B, grade C with their products. And that's what that is. And then at the bottom, I have email sign up and you get 1% off.
There you go.
And then my footer.
Excellent. How about instead of getting 1% off, maybe you do something funny like sign up and we'll send you a compliment.
Nah.
I love first of all, I love the overall kind of playfulness that you got going on. with your
Mhm.
So, all right, let's see. Keep going.
Then I have a product page. It's just a notepad.
Okay, good.
And then at the bottom it's by these other things too. And a treat a day keeps the saddies away. And then footer again.
Good.
I do not have a landing page because I'm playing a lot of catch up on this project.
Okay. Are you talking about the category page?
Yeah, what did I say?
Landing, which that was you already showed us the home page.
Same.
Yeah. So,
And I got
so just the category page. Okay, sounds good.
Checkout.
Good.
And then so they got that promo for
Sure.
1% off.
Good.
Shipping. Same as billing. Payment info is behind the plus, so I don't have to fill that out. And more sass, and then the footer.
Good. Wow, Emily, you have really like gone all out on so many things that like I think makes your brand stand out and makes the overall experience just super unique. So congrats on that. I think that you've really embraced the aesthetic and just the personality of your brand. I love that you have utilized like the amount of colors. It works. Like it works. Like not everybody can pull that off. And you really have pulled it off, I think, in a very successful way. And yes, you did use a lot of gradients, but they work great. I don't have any issues like visually with going, well, yeah, just because you use gradients, I have readability issues. You know, it's not an aesthetic thing for me. It's more of like I usually look at people that end up having, you know, utilizing or brands that have a lot of colors, they end up not being able to balance them out right. And then there ends up being readability issues. And it's not my personal opinion on whether or not I like gradients or all the colors. It just becomes a functionality thing. And you don't have any issues functioning like in a functional way with all your colors. And that's super unique. Like I hardly have ever seen anybody be able to use so many colors and gradients and pull it off in a functional way. So way to go on that.
Thanks.
All right, let's go back to our home page, please. Cool. This is phenomenal. Yeah, like you're introducing a feature that stands out. You're utilizing language and imagery that's playful and unique for the brand. I'm getting an essence of again kind of the overall vibe of it, and also the language. You know, washy, and then baddies, and then I see other places where you're rhyming it with saddies. You know, all of that type of playfulness in the language is great. Keep going. Again, I love this stuff. Half-ass attitude, whole-ass stationery. I love that stuff. Just little things though. I think it would just flow with that ribbon if there was a way that you could do type on a curve.
If I wanted to look into that, I would have, but I didn't.
So
I don't know where it is in Figma.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to do it in Figma unless somebody knows how to, but you'd probably have to do it in Illustrator and then import it over. But that's just something just to explore later on. I love the headline font, like this font that you're utilizing in these bold areas. I think that the font has got a lot of personality and character, and I like I had mentioned, the angles of it, and also the way that you don't have your image boxes just straight. You kind of have them at a slight angle, and I almost see it like if you were to animate the page and bring it to life, they could like move on scroll and stuff, like little things like that could happen.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so whoops, hold on something. Okay, yeah, this is looking great. New. So we made more things, fun. Let's explore notebook stationery. I like the gradients. I don't have any issues with readability or functionality here. So great job on that. Keep going. This one. So this is one I was like, I kind of was hoping to be able to see an example of an oopsie here. So maybe you could explore like adding a visual here because you didn't have any visuals in the next section. And I kind of would like to see an example of an oopsie here.
Okay.
All right. And now finally, let's go to that product page. Yeah, this is working great. Um, yeah, go ahead and keep scrolling. Just, I don't know, just to get a little nitpicky, because I like the way that your images on your homepage were not centered. I feel like that I kind of want to see that here too. I kind of want to see like the image not straight, but maybe just at an angle like you had on the homepage because it gave it a little, it followed that attitude. Okay.
Makes sense.
These are looking great. Yeah, everything's looking solid. And then finally, your checkout. Yeah, same thing. If maybe you could do like the type on a curve in Illustrator and bring it in.
Yeah.
Looking good, looking good. Fun. Awesome. Awesome job, Emily.
Thanks.
I don't know why you're so shy to share this work. Is great work.
Well, I did it this weekend, that's why.
All right. Well, that's fine. Okay. Does any of your fellow classmates have any feedback? There's Joshua. Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, I really love your entire website and how it defies the standard. How like I remember Bradford and Sean like not being very fond of like uh gradient colors because they say it's risky, or I don't remember what they said about it, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah,
just
we
like
did.
really risky to do it. But like the way you did it is just really perfect and just is so unique and adds personality to your website and
Yes.
makes it unique in a way that's just really phenomenal. And the simplicity of your website is just very commendable. I really love it. Well done.
I
Thanks.
agree, Joshua, and that's why I go back to thinking of form and function, right?
Mhm.
Um, I might not just because of my own aesthetics would not be able to pull this off because I don't necessarily use a lot of colors and gradients. I don't normally lean in that direction, but what Emily has pulled off is she's pulled off this stuff. She's pulled off the gradients, and it's not compromising the function at all. So that's a big feat. So way to go.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, Emily, thanks a lot for sharing. I appreciate it. It's good to see the work.
Cool. Thanks.
All right. Do we have another volunteer, please?
I can go.
Who's
next.
that?
It's me, Josh.
Oh, Josh. All right. You go for it then. Thank you so much again.
Yeah.
We're coming
Give me
down
one
to the
moment.
wire.
Give me one moment.
So,
Here we go.
Melinda, if you could be ready to share after Josh, okay? Thank you.
So this is my this is my visual design. Got
Excellent.
everything.
Excited to see the progress.
Yeah. This is my homepage. We can see right here. Nothing has changed since I've and then
You last shared, okay? Can you zoom out just a little bit? Zoom,
yeah.
because I want to see the top nav again. There you go. Let's go up. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right, keep going.
Yeah, nothing really much changed except few design choices.
Okay.
Like I had the outlines this ones. And I added the reviews, the mock reviews,
All right.
and my foot headers too.
Okay.
Then I go to the catalog
Right. Good.
and then the outwear. Added a lot of things to it.
Yeah. Looks
including the
looking really
photos.
good so far.
And then last but not least, the cards. And the design is actually pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's really good progress. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then also did the mobile one too.
Okay.
The mobile one's kind of a little more challenging for the home page,
Yeah,
but
can be.
yeah.
Okay. Let's focus on the desktop so we have time to give you feedback. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and focus on the home page.
Okay.
And I'm going to give some feedback just for myself, and then I'm going to open it up to your classmates. Okay. So let's zoom in on the feature area. All right. So overall, the top area of your home. Can you focus, zoom in on that, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I love just the simplicity of it. First of all, I think that it's simple, it's bold, it's direct. So I think that those are the things that are working really well for the homepage in this top area. But one thing though that is extremely challenging is the readability of your main navigation. It gets completely lost right up there with that background image. And then also your headline, welcome to the Baru. Is that how you say it? Baru?
Yeah, Boru.
Baru. That's also getting a bit lost because of, again, the image in the background. I love the image, like I think it's great, but because it is a very busy image, we're just running into some challenges around readability. So, you're gonna have to kind of consider those things as far as like, what can you do to maintain functionality? And functionality, the most important thing is readability of your main nav and certain things like that. So you might have to darken that image, or you might, like for welcome, that headline, maybe it just goes way bigger and is bolder. So it's standing out a bit more. You could do a top gradient, which actually I'll show you in my prototype that I'll share. And so those are that's my initial feedback on what I'm seeing here. And then when you go to your other pages, you're treating your main nav differently than your home, which kind of throws me off a bit. Because now when you go into these other pages, that main nav is go ahead to your next page. Now it's in your other ones, now it's got this red like border and background to it, which is different than the home, which kind of throws me off visually. So I feel like that you need to consider consistency and readability when it comes to your main nav, especially based off of a lot of the examples that we've shown. And there's a lot of different things that you could do. You could just go, well, Professor, I'm just going to take what I have on these interior pages and apply it to my homepage. That's an easy solution. Joshua, did you have your hand raised?
Yes, I did.
All right, yeah, jump in.
So I was going to suggest what you said, like introducing like a gradient, like a top gradient so that you can see your top text.
Yeah.
However, yeah, same thing. Like what you could do for like your main background, or you could probably blur it a little bit, but it might not be the greatest idea because you're trying to show your products and like have an interesting homepage.
Yeah.
So that leads to my next suggestion, which is you make like a rectangle spanning across the page where it says "Welcome to Boru," and maybe blur it a little bit, and then have it blend in with like the text, so that the text is on top and the little rectangles on the back with like black color opacity at 10% or maybe 20%, depending on how much you need. And the top and bottom are gradients.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are all considerations for you. Okay. Go back to your homepage because I just got one more comment, and then we'll move on
Yeah.
here. Scroll down to the middle sections here. I feel like
Right here?
right here, stop right here.
Okay.
I feel like that these boxes right in here, um, like maybe should just be all red. Like, you just have white text on red. It kind of throws me off a little bit that you got this red outline and then you got this sort of pink and then you got this blue. Like, did you consider just making the box just all red and just white type on it so it's a little bit cleaner?
Uh, Not really, no.
Consider that. It would be a little bit cleaner. And then if you go down to the next section,
Okay.
you're doing a couple of things here like that feel visually redundant to me. You have this underline and then this underline. And also our story, like that doesn't seem necessary to say our story when you have about us. Maybe it's just one or the other. Maybe it's our story and then you got this content, or you just say about us and you have this content, but you don't need about us and our story together. It's just redundant.
I gotcha.
All right. So it would be the same thing on this button here. Like I almost feel like that you don't necessarily need this extra color, this pink color in it. Like maybe it's just outline and then you got white text. It just starts making it look a bit busy. So just trying to consider things that will help clean it up a bit. And let's go to the category page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's looking good. Oh, one thing about the logo up at the top, I just had a question for you. Did you did you mean for the inside of the O to be black?
No. Well, it's meant to be to blend in with the shirts, so it looks fairly noticeable, but yeah, yeah,
I was just
can't
wondering
get
if
it.
you meant to do that, or should it be red so it looks like it's see through like the B and everything. But I didn't know if that was just intentional or not. So, all right, let's go to our product page.
All right.
Yeah, that's good. One small thing is I feel like you could use a little space down here. It feels real cramped in this area. Give it a little breathing room.
Yeah, gotcha.
And is your font in these buttons, is that the same as your home page? See how
Yeah.
this button, I like this button a lot. I think it's clean and that looks different than those buttons on the home page. I would consider like just keeping this aesthetic for this button and apply that to the home page.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then finally, let's look at our checkout real quick.
Oh, there we go.
And here, the only thing here is where's your pricing? Is it free?
No,
So
that's like fifty
update that.
dollars.
Yeah, just go ahead and update your real information in here.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. It's a really good progress.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. And Melinda, you are next, please.
Okay. I'm like, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like having troubles holding the mic on.
It's okay.
Okay. I don't know why I'm like
You just
sped.
have to remind us about your project, please, and the brand and
It's a I cannot get this stupid thing to work.
okay.
Okay, there we go. Um, it's just like the screen keeps blocking me being able to click on Figma. I can't get like it's the video of Zoom. I can't get my trackpad to click on it. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a like home spa product line,
Gotcha. Okay.
and like its main thing is milk soaks, and then there's body oils, and it's like an all natural product line. And then there's like some um auditory listening stuff. I have like a bunch of notes of like a ton of things I have to edit and finish still, so like
Okay,
this is still kind of in my rough. I just was
sure.
spending a lot of time making a icon system because I was having troubles trying to figure out how to like display the product. So, because
Sounds
it's like
good. Yeah,
I
just
didn't really
show us
consider
whatever
it like
whatever you
it's
got.
just oil and milk, you know? So, I did some photography. This right here is kind of like their mood playlist that they just offer.
Mm,
And then there's also like custom packages you can build and stuff. But so it's just kind of the home page is just kind of going through a little bit information for you to like learn about the brand. There's the footer, and then I don't know how else to do this besides clicking through things. I like can't see what I'm doing. Okay. And then so that was landing page, and then this is category page.
okay.
So then it's like there's first th okay, like things aren't showing up. I've been having problems with like items laying on top of the layer instead of getting into the layer.
Sure.
Um, so I don't really know what I'm doing with that.
Okay, just just keep
Yeah.
showing us what you can, okay?
I like every so often I figure it out, but there used to be a bunch of icons here. And prices and little descriptions and things, but they're gone. Okay, there's a little bit of it. I don't know why
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I did the weird thing. Okay, there's more of kind of what it is. So it's like a pattern repeated. I haven't filled in because it's taken me a long time to make all these icons.
Sure, I understand.
And then the sticky nav, the little feature is this light bulb can go into light mode. So I've made like the reverse of all the icons too. So I'm just in my like put it together phase finally, but it's just sorry, I know I keep apologizing. And I don't know why the footer's not showing up. So that's
Okay.
another weird thing. Oops. And then I think like my computers are just like burning out.
I can understand. It's okay.
And then this is what is it? The detail
Product.
product page.
Okay.
There we go. This one's showing personality. Again, so then this is kind of like the main menu thing, and then the little
Mm-hmm.
breadcrumbs. And then I didn't quite go through it with the buttons on the front page, but I haven't quite dedicated to my button style because what things weren't really working out. So I'm kind of getting more into like this glass-ish shape, even though like the shape of the product is more of a cylinder. I'm trying to figure that out with the whole put it together stuff. So it's the overview, ingredients, and then there's colors like that's supposed to be like a metal band. So it does more like metal contrast things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's options of sizes, and then that's like it's kind of small and you can't really see the arrows, but I also not too sure about sizing of things. And then complete your spa time, and then those are like other products that you can like scroll through in a carousel. Then there's the footer again, and I think yeah, I have everything planned out for the shopping cart and then the like a little thank you page,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not there yet. My dad just died this morning, so I'm just like really kind of like knocked out right now.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
thank
so
you for
I've
even
just been
being here.
yeah, I've just been like trying to work on like this as much as I can. So, but
Well, thank you, and I'm sorry for your loss.
yeah, thank you.
Well, I'd like to open it up and we'll be brief because I'd love to give you some time back because this is the last thing you need to be at is class.
It's all right.
I'd love to open it up to any of your classmates for any feedback or any thoughts. Well, overall, yeah, Joshua, thank you so much.
You may finish what you were saying. I didn't want to talk over you.
Oh no, you go for it.
All right. Well, I really love what you've done so far. Like it looks really elegant with the direction you're going with, and it's very interesting too. I've never seen a brand like this quite before, and I'm really looking forward to how you finalize this. For playlists, I love the mood smileys. But do you think it would maybe help clarify what it is if we added like iconography, like with music in there, like a little play button?
Yeah, I don't like I have probably like 1,000 icons built. I just haven't gotten it all in there, but it's very icon forward and like that's kind of like some of like the spa line is all like just prints outs of icons on things. So that's kind of like the system of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, you'll be all right. You got this.
Excellent. Joshua, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying. So overall, Melinda, I want to be brief because of your loss. This is not what you should be focusing on. Um, I think the overall things that I think are really making this project stand out the most is you have this beautiful, rich color palette that's warm, it's inviting. Uh, Also, your font choices, I think, are very appropriate and really unique. You feel hand done, so it adds to the quality of the overall like brand and aesthetic. So I think you've done a great job there. And also, you said that you've been taking photographs of stuff. I think that's also an admirable feat to be able to do and include in your project. So uh, you also, I don't have to really be redundant on the things that you had mentioned that you're working through. So those things are obvious that, you're still working through this, but now due to, what has happened, I'd love for you to be able to send a message to Bradford and Sean and myself, and we could see how we can support you and where you're at with your loss and also your class and your assignments. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna work real hard and stuff, but yeah, I'm not really processing, so I'm
No,
like
it's
just
okay.
here to learn right now.
Yeah, it's very understandable. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you, everyone that shared their progress here and that also participated in feedback. It's very like I know as far as like thinking about me as a professor, but also as a student, I really love to hear my fellow students give feedback. There's always a fresh perspective, and so I appreciate everybody that has participated in giving feedback to your classmates. We are going to do let's see here, what time is it? It's 2:23. Let's just come back at 2:30, 2:40. Let's come back at 2:40. Joshua, you raise your hand?
Yeah, just really quick. For Melinda's project, I forgot to mention this earlier. But on the playlist, really love the playlist part. But do we think that maybe the text is a little too small, or is it necessary to be that small?
Yeah, I'm lost on text sizing stuff. I'm trying to look back at my notes. Remember, there's like the little like 12 to 19 or something like that for body, I think.
Hmm.
Well, it's a variable though. When we talk about font sizes, um, there's there's a variable because it depends on what font you're using. If you're using a serif font and you're also utilizing a dark background, then you're going to have to go a little bit bigger than the normal. The normal is really 14 to 16, considering mobile. When you're thinking mobile, 14 to 16 for body copy is kind of the standard. But if you're using a really dark background and then you're going to use a serif font or something like that on top of it, you may have to go a little bit bigger. So there's a lot of variables. If you go back to the previous lectures around best practices around typography, you'll see that we did cover quite a bit around different considerations for typography and best practices around that. So if you need any reminders, you're more than welcome to go back to those lectures.
I will.
Excellent. So yeah, let's come back at 2:40. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, and see you in a little bit. Hello, everyone. 2:40. All right, so we're going to spend some time. I already shared the. Jump over to Figma. All right. Move my windows around a little bit here. Okay, so what I got is put together this mock website for the band The Silent Comedy and their upcoming show on September 19th at the Belly Up. So my intention for this is like a almost like a promo website for them in a way. So, not everything, of course, is going to be functional, but what I am going to walk you through is some basic prototyping that applies to the next assignment. And again, the next assignment is taking your visual designs and adding functionality to it and prototyping to it. So to go back to what I mentioned for the assignment is developing, your visual designs and making them into clickable prototypes to demonstrate interactive functionality with simple animations that enhance the user experience. So enhance is the key term to consider here. It's not about overpowering, and it's not about creating unnecessary functionality. It's to enhance it with subtle, purposeful interactions. So we don't want it to detract from the overall usability of the website. We want to enhance it. So when we look at this particular example and some of the other examples that we've seen that, some of the other students that have already added prototyping and functionality into their websites, most of it is just subtle. So everything from rollovers, buttons, to even interactions on buttons. Being able to do simple interactions like this, or even a menu overlay. This is a great prototyping that you can add into your designs with buttons and links in the menu that have functionality to it. Sound good? Those are the things I'm going to cover today. I'm also going to create a new page and link over to that page. So I'll show you how to do that as well. Is there anything else we could possibly consider in today's prototyping class? Anyone? No? All right, well, if you have any questions or any additional thoughts, then we'll do what we can to answer them and work through them. Yeah, Melinda.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. It's with the A. The hold on, I haven't written it down. Auto layout. Sometimes do you have I know it's complex. I don't know if there's for when I'm trying to repeat the button, it's not carrying over. I can't edit it by just editing a master button. I don't know if there's any tricks on that.
I think we'll see if we can get to that today, but that actually doesn't fall within the assignment. So the assignment is to add basic prototype and functionality. And so I'm going to focus on that. And if we have extra time, either today or in another class, or even Bradford could help out with that stuff next class, then we can extend into those particular Figma things. But those type of Figma actions aren't really a part of this particular assignment, okay? All right. Did somebody else raise their hand? No? All right. Well, again, I'm going to try to focus on what's relevant to this assignment, and that's doing interactions and prototyping that add to the experience. So everything from, again, showing, certain rollover features, certain clickable actions, menu actions, all that good stuff. Those are really good, simple prototyping actions that I can quickly teach you. All right, so one thing that I've always said at the very beginning is organization. Organization, organization, organization. I can't reiterate it enough, because if you don't start with organization, then it only compiles and it becomes like a pile of trash sitting in your room, right? If you don't organize that dirty laundry right away, then that dirty laundry just piles up. So I can't reiterate that enough. I create very clean, organized systems over here, and everything is organized within its own frame. So I have a very, very simple file right now. It has, as a matter of fact, I'm going to change this to TC website home, because I am going to create a new page. So I'm going to update that name. So this page right here, real simple headline or file name. It is called the TSC, which is the Silent Comedy website home. And within that is very, very clean and simple files in here. And these files are organized in a way based off of sections. So I have my top feature, it's just called feature, and then I have everything organized within this. I have 2 buttons. They start off with the name button, and then it says button, zoom in, right here, button by, which should be actually called tickets. Let's change that to ticks. Come on. Actually spell it out. There you go. And then I have, this is my title. Then I have some support information, and this is my background. So everything in my feature area is very organized based off of what the element is. And when we go back to some of our other studies, we talk about like when you start building things out for a developer, if you have to share this file with another designer or a developer, if like all of this stuff isn't named and it's just called layer 23 copy 200, nobody knows what the hell that means. And you can't share files, you can't work with each other. So that's why it's imperative to keep your files organized and named in a very like logical way. And you have to think logic. So when you're working with other people, you have to agree on certain file names and logic that's consistent. All right, so I organize everything, feature. This down here is called my tickets module. This module right here that's sitting here is called my about. And then finally down here, I created a module called posters. And that's why it's very imperative to name these in a logical way, because I'm linking to these. I have this top nav up here that I have functionality. You can see the little arrow right here, this prototype that's linking to that section. So that's why I keep everything nicely organized and simple. All right. So I'm going to go through, first of all, I'm going to go through the menu overlay. Alrighty? So let me show how that works real quick. I have a menu icon. I have a cursor interaction, and when I click on it, it does a full screen overlay. It has 3 buttons in it. 2 of the buttons actually have interactions in them, and those are rollover. I even brought in the title of the band, and I brought in a logo overlay. And then the functionality, I have a close button here that I can click on, or I've added functionality that I can click outside of the menu and it closes my menu. So click, I can click my close button, or I can click outside of the menu. And all of those, both of those 2 interactions get the same result. All right, so we're gonna show this here real quick. A little choppy. Hold on. Okay, so what I did here is I created my icon menu, and my icon menu has 3 lines and then a transparent shape. And the purpose of that transparent shape is if you don't have that, then the role or the action is only attached to these lines, which ends up being really weird. So if I hide that rectangle, then like my actions are on these lines, which ends up being a little wacky. So that's why I always include like a rectangle within the shape like that, and I put it at 0%. So it has like this this area. Matter of fact, sometimes you can make it even bigger. So your rollover area, see how it's a little bit bigger, and it's not just where the lines are. So that action area ends up having a space around it, like the icon has this margin of interaction around it, which makes it even more usable. All right. So what I did was I created a simple menu icon with 3 lines and a transparent rectangle background. So if you look at this, I have it as like a light gray color, and I just made it 0%. All right. So then before I assign any action to it, I have to create my menu overlay. And so what I did was I just drew a new frame. So I'm going to show you how I did that real quick. So I go down to my frame tool, and I simply drew my frame, and I made sure that it was the same width as my home page, which is 1728. See this frame, 1728? And then, I don't know, I'm going to do it at 400 pixels tall. And now I'm going to name that frame menu open. I'm just going to say 2 for now, because I'm just showing you, I'm actually just creating it. You can see what it looked like after I created it. So because my background color palette is black, I just went over here, I selected black, but for funsies, I'm going to change it to gold for right now. And then what I did was, because I want my close icon to be exactly where my menu icon was set, I copied my icon of my menu, and I selected my menu open, and I just pasted it right in. So what it did was it pasted it exactly where my menu icon was. And the reason why is because when it overlays, I want that icon, when it's a close button, I want it to be exactly where that other one is at. So there's no shifting around. And that's why it's easy just to do a quick little copy and paste. So what I did was I deleted two of the lines. And to make a close button, I just kind of rotated my center line. I copied and pasted it in place, and I did that. Now I created a quick close button in literally, what, 20 seconds? Super easy. All right, so that's kind of how I start off with creating like a menu overlay. I go ahead, I get the the overall shape in place. I get a close button in place. And now I start bringing in navigation. So for this particular one, you can see I just copied and pasted buttons. So what I did, I ended up doing was I copied like one of these, these buttons from down here to be consistent. And I'm just gonna show you real quick. And I'll add functionality to that. So I'm going to change this particular button though. I'm going to make it a stroke of black. Whoops. There you go. Let's change this to black. And let's change this text to black too, so it's more readable. All right. So I've copied and pasted a button into my main nav. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, it already actually has functionality built into it because I copied it from my existing file, which already had some functionality in it. So you see where it already had this in there. But this close button here doesn't have the right functionality because that close button doesn't need to open an overlay. It needs to close it. So I'm going to change it to just close overlay. Real simple. This button here, it copied over the same functionality, which is a rollover for this button. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give our menu icon a interaction to open up menu 2 instead of menu 1. So you see where it's going to open that one up. So now what we're going to do, roll over, click, whoops. Let's change that real quick because it's not. So let's see here, manual. So we don't want it centered. We want it manual. And see, that's not, now I have to adjust it because we're going to get rid of that completely and start from scratch because because I had the action based off of this other menu, it's not like quite getting the centering right. So we're going to start over. We're going to click on this. We're going to go to actions, hit plus, on click. Action is open overlay. The overlay is going to be menu 2. And going to make sure it gets aligned. We're going to add the functionality of close when clicking outside. And I'm going to add the background color, which is black, and I'm going to do it at 75%. And I'm going to add a slight dissolve. So that's a slight little animation. Whoops. There you go. So what I did, click, it opens the menu overlay, it gives it a slight dissolve. It overlays a background color of black at 75%. And the close button simply closes the overlay. It's a real simple action. Close the overlay. That's it. Now this button, because I copied and pasted it from this feature area, which already had interactions to it, You see now it has, it's carried over that little interaction here. All right, so I'm gonna go back and fix and give it the menu overlay of the one that I like better. And then I'm gonna open it up to questions before we move on. So action, click, or sorry, trigger, click, action, open overlay. Overlay is menu open, which is this first one. It's going to go right here. It's manual, or let's see here, top left. Nope, we don't want top left. We want manual. And then what you can do is you can drag it into place. And then I gave it a overlay background of 80% black, and I'm going to add a dissolve. So let's go back to it. Here, click, menu overlay, close. All right, I'm going to pause right there. Looks like there's a few comments here. Any questions about a menu overlay right now from anyone before we move on? Yes, Joshua.
You can always add more elements to the overlay, right?
Yeah, you can make it bigger. So watch this. I'm going to just move this over. Okay. Now, what if I wanted this menu to be really tall? Now watch what it'll do. It becomes one of those mega menus.
Cool.
But the only problem is I can't click outside of it because it's filling the screen, which is fine because I can just click my close button. So if you wanted a menu overlay that, let's say, is got some extra info in it, right? Let's say I'm just going to drop this extra stuff in. Because I just want more stuff, right? And now I kind of have almost like a mega menu that takes over the whole screen and becomes sometimes more dynamic and more graphic. Yeah, Maya.
If you did that for like a mega nav and then copied and pasted that navigation to the other pages. So if I wanted to copy and paste the navigation with the interactions to my category page, would it work? Like if I just copied and pasted, or would I have to redo all the interactions for each of the category and product pages?
No, you wouldn't have to because you're just linking to this one page.
Okay.
So I'm just going to move things around here just so I have more room on my artboard. So if I create another page here, we're just going to I'm going to copy and paste this page over, and we're going to call it, ticket. Okay. Just for shits and giggles. Well, tickets, we're going to link to this guy. So let's say tickets here. Here's my tickets page. It carries over the same functionality. I don't have to create another menu.
Okay. I also had another question.
Yeah.
Because I was adding the interactions for my website. So when you like hover over it, it changes pictures or like shows text. I wasn't able to figure out how to, so like for example, your buy tickets button changes color when you hover over it. then I also wanted to have it navigate to a different page. And for some reason, it wasn't letting me add two interactions in one.
Yes, it does not. And I actually was looking that one up today. So
Okay.
if somebody else can look that up, so yeah, so I'm going to show everybody what Maya's talking about. So like this buy tickets button here, right? It only allows you to add one functionality, and that functionality just has a rollover to it. I can't add another interaction. You see where it says, it gives me the little, this interaction will not be triggered as another one will be triggered first. So here's what you can do, but it's based off of the same, it's based off of this same interaction. You can add another one here. So you can add on hover and add another one, but then it messes things up because like it's a hover state and it just never works right. Put it that way. Yeah, Donna.
So the way I did mine was I made a component out of my button, and with that component, it lets you make a variant. And so in the interaction, you would put hover, and then it would say like change to variant, and then you can add another interaction where it's like click and you can go to another page. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, it does. You're
that's
right
how
about that. I forgot. Here, let's do that here real quick. So let's copy this button. We're gonna call this one by whatever, buy more. Okay. And I'm gonna get rid of, there you go. All right, so what you're saying here, Donna, is yeah, you have to come over here, left click it and create a component. Right?
yes.
Yep. And then what you can do here is you can go to interactions, click interaction. Let's
You
go.
have to make the variant first, I think.
Okay, so let's see here real quick. And where do you remind me? Where do you make your variant at?
You just like click on the button, like right click, so the menu pops up, and then it says um, hover over main component, and then add variant.
Sorry, hold on. It's hard for me to see. Where's that at?
When you hover over main component, there's a window that pops up, and then it gives you the option.
Oh, there it is, right there. Add variant.
And then you would switch what color you would want it to turn to.
Oh yeah, see, you're getting real fancy.
Yeah, and this way it also helps all your buttons to stay consistent, and it already has that hover thing applied once you do the interaction thing.
There you go. So let's do this here real quick. Right? And okay, so now what we're gonna do, see, yeah, you definitely got into some extra stuff here.
Yeah, my friend taught me how to do that.
No, that's excellent. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, sorry, my eyes are tired. So yeah, we can get a little bit more into that later. And then what you do is you can apply those variants and those kind of components into like throughout your whole thing. But you're right. It's one of the best ways to create consistency throughout. But that's more like mid-level Figma. And right now I'm just gonna have to keep it kind of intermediate, okay? All right, hold on one second. Just give me 1 second. I got somebody at the door. Okay, thanks a lot. All right, so yeah, Maya, go ahead.
Um, I know you mentioned this at the beginning of class, but could you show us how to do like a banner that has information moving across? Is that something we're able to do on Figma?
I haven't done something like that before. I
Okay.
haven't added motion in Figma. I'm not sure, like, unless somebody else has gotten into that, I don't recall whether or not you can even add motion in Figma like that.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just to kind of go back, trying to keep things on an intermediate level here. I'm going to showed you guys this part right in here. I clicked over to, there you go. This is this home page here. Let me get this back in. Let's see here. Fix width. There you go. That's what. So hide this stuff. I hate my UI. There you go. All right. So I'm gonna show how to scroll down to different areas. And then Donna is right. There's definitely a better way to be able to create buttons, rollovers based off of components and variables. But I'm just going to show you how to do it really simple as far as like creating a simple rollover. But you're right, you're not able to add additional variables in interaction based off of that. So I'm just going to keep things simple. And then what we can do is I'll ask Bradford to get a bit more into that next class on Monday. So if you want to create a simple rollover for a button, you can do something like this where I created the button, I designed the button, and then again, I created a frame where it's just a simple rollover or overlay. So the button and the option for it, I changed the color. And then as far as like the interaction here, it is a action of open overlay. And then the overlay is that frame. Its name, it's called button by rollover, RO. And the center or the position is manual, but there's no background or anything. And I added a simple animation for dissolve. So that's what we're getting here. Just a simple rollover for that. Same thing with this guy over here, but I have two different button designs. One button has a white background, which that's my primary button. And then my secondary button I had designed to look like this, where it's transparent. And all I did was in here, I just took down the transparency down. I actually gave it a 1% just so it's just a little bit dark, just a little bit. And that does a rollover of kind of that yellow gold color too. Another thing here I want to show. I want to show a sticky navigation up top. So this is super simple to design. What you do is you just maintain like whatever you don't want to scroll, you want it to stick. Over here on your left-hand side, it says fixed. And you just put everything up in that area into fixed. So I dropped, these simple navigation right in here that I want to be fixed on this page and just to scroll down. So let's say you have a one pager and you want this to scroll down to a section. It does a simple scroll, just like that. Or what I could do is I could change this functionality to link over to that other page. So on click, I could do navigate to, and that's going to navigate over to my tickets page. So this one scrolls, but this one is a simple click over to a separate page. Very simple interaction here, just to click over to another page from a link. That's pretty simple stuff, I think. All right, let's see here. Same thing here. I had just copied and pasted rollovers. And the one good thing, Maya, you had mentioned, that's why I like to try to create as much of my global interactions on my homepage. And then you can just copy and paste. Whenever you start creating pages, just create new pages based off the first page, because you already have those interactions baked into there. So it makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to like create new actions based off of that. All right. So I've covered things I've covered today. I've covered a menu overlay. I've showed you how to do just very simple rollovers for buttons. Showed you how to close a menu overlay. I showed you how to click to another page, or to actually click down into a section. Just like this one scrolls down. So it's like one of those, the tagging, just to kind of scroll down. And I also, here's how to click over to another page. Here's one thing though that I like to do. If I'm clicking to another page, it could, you could do a dissolve. But what I like to do is I like to go down to state and reset scroll position. So if I'm on right here, let's see here, hold on. Click out. And let me try that one more time. Give it a second, let it load. All right, so let's say I'm down here and I'm going to click over to that page. Go through here, and let's say I go back to my home. That didn't quite work out right, so ignore that part. Sometimes you guys know things don't always work out the way you planned. So I won't worry about that one right now. All right. That's all I'm going to cover for now. Again, I don't want to get into some really complicated mid-level stuff, which that's components, auto layouts, all that. I'd rather keep things simple for now, because this is truly just a intermediate level prototyping. When we start getting into auto layouts and components and variables, you really start slipping into mid-level interactions in Figma. And I'd rather just kind of take things slow and go from one step at a time. And I'll ask Bradford next week if he wants to get into components and variables and auto layouts. But for now, we're just going to kind of keep things simple. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the things that I covered for today? Nope.
I do. It's Carl.
Okay, Carl. Yes, what you got?
Is there anything specific to our websites that I'm asking about the assignment. Like, so is the assignment the things you showed us?
Yeah, you definitely need to add interactions of like your menu. If you have a menu overlay, include that menu overlay in there. I want to see clickable pages, right? You need to have in your prototypes, whether it's in your main navigation or if you have certain call to actions on your pages to go to those pages specifically. So that prototyping needs to be in there based off of the pages that you have. So like your checkout, like if you're, when you're on your product detail page and you have checkout, that checkout needs to go to that page as far as checkout goes. So for the assignment, thank you for asking that and clarifying it. Your assignment needs to include all of the user flows to your pages. This assignment also needs to include your global menu interactions. Also, if you have certain things of like, it'd be great, like if you have a background video like this, add a background video in there. It's pretty simple. The only problem that I keep seeing though is I've seen a lot of people's computer performance completely get killed whenever you guys add video into your sites. So unless you have your computer can handle this kind of stuff, then don't add especially videos into a bunch of your pages. I did notice that there was a couple of you that have added video and it's just killed your whole performance of your presentation. So I want to see global menu interactions. I want to see like pages, clickable pages of your user flow. Those are mandatory. And then also, if you have any other subtle, like, and Bradford can help out with some of these other like components and variables. He can help out with that stuff on Monday. Tersa, yes.
So not really about the interaction stuff. I would really like to like review the things you've taught us later on when I start applying it to my own website. Will you be uploading this like lesson for us to go back and watch?
Yes, I will. I sure will.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. And I think I provided the link to this prototype, but I can also share the file. Let me do this here real quick. Copy link. And let's see here real quick. And there you go. Yeah, I'll be updating this stuff and I'll update the videos on the YouTube channel. All right. Well, that's all we're going to cover for today. I'd rather give you guys a little time back than to overwhelm you with too much. Did it not share? Let's see. Where's great. Hold on. Oh, only those invite. Hold on just a second. Anyone. There you go. And let me just double check that real quick. There you go. It should be the same. So I just updated. There you go. I see you in there. Whoever's in there. I think that's you, Ezekiel. So yeah, Joshua.
Just as a safety measure, you might want to make a copy of this just in case one of us probably move something.
It's okay. It's not real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, Carl wanted to say something.
Yeah, Carl.
Yes, thank you, Joshua. When you You showed us a way to share a link of your prototype with your clients when you're working with them so they can kind of look at it on their phones. I was wondering if is that something quick that you can just show
Yeah.
us again? Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So what you do is, you go to your view, your present over here. You opened up your present. And I like to do fit width. Okay. See that? Not actual size, but width. Just so like, it'll, and then what I do is I just click share prototype and I just do anyone with view, or let's see here real quick. Yeah, that's it. Just that. Anyone can view. And then copy link. And then that's what I share. So
Okay.
if you go
And then
here, I'll go to everyone. And there you go. That's the present link.
okay, and do they need to have any Figma apps on their
Mm-mm.
phone at all? No?
No, because watch this. If I go to my Google Chrome, can you guys see my Chrome?
I think
No, hold on just a
No, we
second.
don't.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's starting to get a little buggy right now. Hold on. Come on. Give me a second. It gets a little, you know how things start slowing down whenever you got so many things you're sharing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now you can see my Chrome, right?
It just says that you have started screen share. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, so if I go here and I copy or I paste that present link, give it a second. Because again, it's getting real. It should just show right up in my browser. My word, it is really chugging along. It's because it's got the video in it. Videos are just, yeah, it's just really tough in these prototypes. There you go.
Oh yeah, it is struggling.
There you go. It's loading. There you go. But you see how it's showing up in my browser?
Sure. Yeah, that's okay. That's great. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing so things is just let it calm down a little bit. Did somebody just raise their hand?
Yeah, it was me. I was
Oh,
gonna
okay. What's up,
comment
Justin?
that. Yeah, I was just gonna comment that it's not probably not only because of the video, but also because you have other tabs open and it's just Chrome eating up your RAM.
Yeah, it's totally chroming up my RAM. It is. Yeah, it's just a few too many things open right now. So, but anyways, yeah, we're gonna keep it at that. I want to keep things digestible for everyone. And I will ask Bradford. Let me just write this stuff down real quick so I don't forget. I'll ask him to cover components, auto, layouts, and variables. Okay. Cool. All right, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything. And we will meet on Wednesday. And what we're going to focus on Wednesday is I got a presentation And we're also going to go over UI kits. So, yeah, Minnow, you had a question?
I want to know if this is going to be on the calendar, this assignment.
Oh yeah, everything will be yeah, everything will be updated.
Good. I didn't see it on the calendar yet.
Yeah, because I just announced it.
Okay.
I'll update it at the end of class for sure.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys. Take care.